Due to the nature of OpenGL ES shader pipeline, a PSO cache is recommended to avoid the runtime cost of shader compilation. On Quest and many other devices supporting OpenGL ES, shaders are not actually compiled until they are actually used in a draw call. This causes the first frame of many mobile OpenGL ES apps to hitch as the first frame gets rendered. With one draw call taking as much as 400 milliseconds, this can add up and becoming a stall of up to a few minutes, depending on the number of draw calls that require shader compilation. Something to note is that one single shader compilation can cause the app to fail the Oculus certification requirements of 13.88 milliseconds. Because of this, an OpenGL ES extension called OES_get_program_binary was proposed, and it was included as part of the core OpenGL ES3 standard to solve this problem. UE4 uses this extension via the PSO cache system. To use the PSO cache system, we will need to apply the following changes first. Open the game source code in Visual Studio and find shaderpipelinecache.cpp. On line 1415, apply the following change for the member function fShaderPipelineCache::open. Change this from fPipelineFileCache::setGameUsageMask with comparison to fShaderPipelineCache::setGameUsageMask with comparison. Next, we will set up the PSO cache system. From the main menu, go to Edit, Project Settings, Packaging, and Packaging, and enable the following options: Share Material Shader Code and Share Material Native Libraries. The editor will prompt to restart to apply the new settings. Ignore this as we have more settings to change. Then open up the Device Profile tool by going to Window, Developer Tool, Device Profiles. Next, under Existing Device Profile, locate the Android option and click the ellipsis next to its name to open that device profile up. Under the Console Variables section, look for the Rendering section and press the plus icon to expose the search input. Inside of the search input, locate and click on the r.shaderpipelinecache.enabled to add it to the list of rendering variables. Then set the value of r.shaderpipelinecache.enabled to a value of 1. When that has been completed, close your Unreal Editor session. Add the following to Android engine.ini under the engine's root folder, engine config Android. Here. We save and we close this. Then restart the editor. From the main toolbar, click the white arrow icon next to Launch, then select Project Launcher. In the Project Launcher, locate the Custom Launch Profile section and press the plus sign icon to add a new custom launch profile. In the Project section, click on the Project drop-down and select the project that you want this profile to be associated with. Since we're using darts to demonstrate this workflow, the project is set to darts. Under the Cook section, set the How would you like to cook the content option to By the Book. In the Cook Platform section, you can select which platform and texture formats this profile should use. For the Oculus Quest, make sure that Android and Android_ASTC are checked. In the Cooked Map section, make sure that Show All is selected and then select all of the maps you want this profile to be associated with. Since we're using darts to demonstrate this workflow, make sure that all available maps have a check mark next to them. Under the Launch section, set the initial map to a level that is used when your project loads. Since we're using our game darts to demonstrate this workflow, the initial map is set to C0 Lobby, which is the starting level of this course. Then, under Additional Command Line Parameters, type in -log PSO to make sure that PSO logging is enabled when the project is run. If your project keeps crashing when trying to collect the PSO data, add -no verified GC to the command line to disable the garbage collection. Name this profile Android PSO Cache. Press the back button on the top right corner of the project launcher to go back to the Custom Launch Profiles menu. From the Custom Launch Profile section, press the Launch This Profile button to start the cooking and deployment process. Before pressing the Launch This Profile button, make sure that you have your target device set up and connected to your development PC, as this process will not only build and cook your project, it will also deploy and start it. Once you have started the cooking and deployment process, the following window will be displayed that will show the progress of the build and any errors should they occur. Seeing build successful from the output log indicates the process was a success. Great, as you can see, the build was successful. Now we can generate PSO cache on our Quest. Make sure the following folder exists on your Quest with the following adb command. This command will create the folder if it doesn't exist on your device. If this folder doesn't exist, you might have to redo the next step. Once the build is completed and deployed to your target device, you will then need to play through all of your project's available levels. The goal is to try to load every single piece of content that is used in the game so that all the shaders used by all the materials are captured. You will want to repeat this process a few times to make sure that all of the used content is loaded. After you have played through your project a few times, you can retrieve the rec.upipeline cache file. You can find this file by going to the folder that we have just created. First, on the root of your C drive, make a new folder called PSO caching. Next, open up your UE4 project folder under darts, saved, cooked, Android_ASTC, darts, metadata, pipeline caches to find the scl.csv file. Copy the two scl.csv files that are in the pipeline cache folder into the PSO caching folder that we have just created. Next, copy the rec.upipeline cache file that was generated when the project was run on a target device to C PSO caching. Copy. There. To generate the needed files, we will need to use the UE4 commandlet function. To use the commandlet function, first open up the engine binaries Win64 folder and look for the UE4 editor-cmd.exe file. Binary. Win64. So we're in the folder and look for UE4 editor, CMD. Right-click the UE4 editor-cmd.exe file, and from the display list, select the Create Shortcut option. Move the newly created shortcut to the PSO caching folder that was created on the root of your C drive. Right-click UE4 editor-cmd.exe shortcut, and from the display menu, select the Properties option. In the target input, add the following command line parameters after the end of UE4 editor-cmd.exe. Click OK to close the Shortcut Properties dialog box, and then double-click the shortcut to run the commandlet. Once the commandlet is finished running, a new file called stablepc.csv is created and placed in the PSO caching folder that was created on the root of the C drive. If you are not able to locate this file, try checking in the engine binaries Win64 folder. When the PSO cache loads for the first time, your app will become unresponsive because it is preparing all the shaders. You can add a loading screen to make this process cleaner. You can use the fshader pipeline cache num precompiles remaining function to facilitate a loading screen. This process is outside the scope of this learning path, but we encourage you to learn more about it by visiting the link below this video on compiling and using PSO caching data. Locate the stablepc.csv file that was created in the previous steps. If you are not able to locate this file, try checking in the engine's binary Win64 folder. Next, go to your project's Build, Android, Pipeline Caches folder and copy the stablepc.csv file to the Pipeline Cache folder. Okay. Then we paste. If you do not see the Pipeline Caches folder, make a folder called pipeline caches and place the stable pc.csv file into that folder. When that has been completed, rebuild your UE4 project for the platforms that it supports. Package, Android STC. There we go, select folder, and that's building. As a recommendation, check in the stable pc.scv file into source control. There is no need to update this file during development. Before product ships or major milestones, repeat the previous steps to update the stable pc.scv file to make sure all shaders used are included, as well as make sure there are no unused shaders in the PSO cache. Congratulations, you now have an understanding on level load optimization. Now that you have completed this, you should have an understanding of how to set up sub-levels for working with a team, as well as loading and unloading scenes smoothly for your player. In the next course, you will be learning about how to implement spatial audio into your app.